How's it going? My voice sounds funny. So I have to watch my wording as usual, or my video get removed. I have the Rona flu, and it's very interesting being on the other side of the table. After I can't really speak too loudly. Obviously, I don't have much energy. My voice is kind of fucked, and my breathing and so on. So I hope this picks up. But after spending a year and a half, on the other side of the fence or the other side of the table, and not really buying into any of this shit for a year and a half, and then about a week ago, or I think 8 days ago, I caught it. I have not been tested. My girlfriend got it, and I think four of her staff got it and got tested. So they all got confirmations that they have the Rona. So I met up with her for lunch one day, and then that night to go deep real quick, we were on the phone, and I sometimes anyway with people I close my eyes or I work with my energy, and I got a vision of something that looked, the nearest description would be that looked like Darth Maul from Star Wars, without the head. I didn't see the face, but it was that blotchy body, and the body that I was looking at and the different shading of the black and red was exactly what I could feel those areas in my own body. I could feel the virus. I could feel the vision that I was having, the thing I could see. And I had the option, obviously, to breathe it in, to take it. So I chose to take it. I know for anyone new listening to this, you wouldn't know you think I'm fucking nuts. But so that's what I would do, obviously, in working with clients or in plant medicine work. If there's a purge there, or there's darkness, I'll take it. I'll integrate it. It's all beautiful. It is all God consciousness. Now, maybe 2 days after that, I might have regretted that decision. So that phone call was around, I think, 9 o'clock at night, and around 2 a.m. it began. And it began to spread through me, and I stopped sleeping, and I began sweating, and freezing cold and just dripping in sweat. And then the pains, legs unbelievably painful, like I climbed Everest. My thighs and knees just unbelievable. And then some nights of not sleeping, a lot of sweating, no appetite, no real trouble breathing, but very tired. Spent a lot of days just in bed, just semi-conscious, quite willing to die as well. I have no problem with dying. Dying doesn't bother me. Living bothers me. Living is frightening. Living is terrifying. So I, like the fool that I am, I tried to bargain with the devil, and I said, "Look, I'm okay. Take me away." And it wasn't necessarily because of the discomfort of the Rona flu. It was more like, I've had a hard life, and I know there's many people who have had much harder lives than me, but I have a low tolerance, and I don't fucking care. Like I've suffered enough, and the coming months for me look like being quite difficult here anyway. Visa, money problems. So as a good friend laughed at me recently and said, like, there's no way, there's no way they're going to let you die. There's no way. And she was right. Like, I'll happily go, but I never get out of these things easily. It's always a fucking nightmare. So on we go. The week was pretty brutal at times, and just got through it. Got some, I'd recommend, so I'm certainly not a doctor or an expert or any of that kind of thing, but very quickly just to say, I'm not a fan of Joe Rogan at all, but I could easily go on a rant about him right now, but I'll try not to. But there's an interview with him and two doctors. One has the surname Weinstein. I can't remember. I think maybe Jeff is his first name. I'm not sure. It's from about 2 weeks ago on the Rogan show. I found it by just doing a Google search for around ivermectin. And I know in Europe, and I think in America, the CDC and the WHO have discouraged people from taking it. It's banned in some countries. But in Mexico, it really turned around the hospital figures. It dropped, I think, 75% in December when they began using ivermectin. And even the manufacturer, which was Merck, MERCK, turned against it. And the reason they turned against it was because it's no longer in copyright. It's a generic drug. Cheap as chips, costs nothing. So I started taking that, and high doses of vitamin C, about 1,000 milligrams every 2-3 hours, zinc, and then gradually a doctor got involved through a contact, and we got different prescriptions and different things prescribed to go with it, just to keep the chest clear and keep breathing okay. So in my opinion, it is, and I've always said this for the last year anyway, I did always believe in the Rona flu. It is out there. But I'll double down on what I said for the last year and a half. It's a fucking flu. I don't know if it's a virus. I don't really care, to be quite honest. No interest. I've been in and out of my apartment in the last week. You gotta live. Gotta buy food. I've been in fucking countless pharmacies. I've had injections of steroids into my arse to try and keep me fucking going. So it is what it is. But I have to say, I love the Mexican perspective on this. Ireland don't treat people with COVID. You can't go to a doctor. You've got to phone them and maybe end up on a Zoom call, maybe book an appointment that they might allow you to come in, because they basically treat people like fucking lepers. And I hate that country with a passion. I see the damage that the media has done there. There's a couple of journalists who have absolutely destroyed the country. But we're all adults, and there's alternatives and alternative information out there. People are dumb enough to buy into this stuff. Fucking go play the game. I ain't playing that fucking game. But the people here, the nurses and people in pharmacies, they know we had fucking COVID. They don't give a shit. And I don't mean that in a sense that third world country, they're stupid. I mean, they're smart, and they know how it can be contracted. So they're not worried. I've had doctors who fucking pick my phone out of my hand and look at my prescription, or I pay them cash out. They're not bothered because they know how they can or cannot contract this. They're fucking smart, and they're friendly and helpful. So I'm extremely grateful for this country. Ireland is just a fucking basket case when it comes to this stuff. I think there's a lot of blood on people's hands. Anyway, moving on. I still totally believe that this, for me, this COVID experience has been like a plant medicine journey, a week long, and it's still going. I'm still in it. I had an injection today. I started breathing sprays today to keep my lungs open. But it has found pockets and broken me in half. 2 or 3 nights ago, I thought my partner was dying, my girlfriend, and she couldn't message me. She couldn't breathe properly. She was in her apartment. She couldn't speak on the phone, and I had no contact number for her family. And I could barely walk downstairs, so I couldn't get on a motorbike and fucking drive half an hour to her. But that brought up a total powerlessness that I don't think I've ever experienced before, and just broke my heart, completely broke my heart. Now she's okay. She's improving, but she's struggling with breathing at times. But that's why I trust this process, and I trust the work that I do. I trust shadow integration. In those moments, I could only but surrender to the grief and the pain. I mean, if I'm dying in my fucking empty apartment on my own, pardon the fucking choice of words, but I can live with that. I'm okay with that. One thing I'm not okay with is pain. I'm a coward through and through. So if I die in my sleep, I'm fucking quite content. I have no issue with that. If I'm dying in pain, yeah, I'm pretty weak. Women have a much better tolerance from pain. The female body, giving birth, men are fucking cowards, or I certainly am anyway. But to see someone you love, and care about, who's very innocent and being very helpful to me on my journey in Mexico, and helping me through a lot of my other shit here of like the visa situation and so on, the language barrier. To see her fall apart and struggle to breathe and lose hope was just heartbreaking. But it was highly purposeful for me, because it fucking broke me open and I needed it. All the rage in me, got activated. All my fucking fight and ego and arrogance, which is still layers of that shit within me. So I'm still integrating bits of that, and I want some of it. I need the fight of some of that stuff. It's part the reason. I've been 4 or 5 years on YouTube, and fucking nobody, almost. I don't want to disrespect those who do listen to the videos and read my articles, but I'm not making any living. I'm not making any progress in that world, and part of it is because I'm not owning my work. I'm not owning who I am. I'm too afraid. I'm too afraid to put myself out in the world. So thus I resent the other people who do and who are successful. And there are people whose messages I just don't resonate with, no interest with in the stories they have, but fair fucks to them to put themselves out there and be successful. So I'm between a rock and a hard place. And my thoughts to die with this over the past week would have been an easy ticket out of here. And sadly, I have not been thus far granted that fucking ticket. So I'm stuck. I'm stuck on this plane for the time being. So yeah, we'll see what the coming months do. But I would encourage looking into ivermectin. YouTube at the moment is in a process, I think, of trying to remove videos. I've just mentioned that word, so I fucking hope I get away with it. But YouTube's in the process of removing videos that mention that word, because they're trying to keep people to go for the V. The V into the arm. They're trying to keep people to go for the expensive medicines from Pfizer and so on. Incidentally, there's a huge increase of people obviously having huge complications after the V, especially if they get COVID. So yeah, but I'm not really bothered about that anymore. I'm really glad I got this. I'll take whatever the fuck is presented to me. But I will moan and cry and complain if I'm in pain. I grant myself that fucking option. But I'm grateful I got it. And I'm still in it. And I don't know what the coming days will bring. But it's been purposeful to expose me, the fucking coward that's still within me, and the anger and the rage that's still within me. So I'm okay with that. It breaks down my fucking arrogance and my ego a little bit more each time. And we'll see what happens. So, do I have anything else to say? Yeah, I suppose just that it has cemented yet again for me that all of these lessons that are presented to us are not problems. They're not wrong. They're not bad. Living in my car was brutal, but it changed me. And by integrating a lot of that stuff, I evolved past that experience to be sitting in this beautiful apartment in Mexico. So the flu, to be presented with the Rona flu, the same thing, it has presented to me another layer, an opportunity for me to expand. And our society doesn't read things like this. It's black and white, good and evil. This is a problem. We need to remove the problem. So they invent the V that goes into your arm. There is no problem. This is the Rona is a solution. It is a cleansing, a release from our being if we can work with it. What I found fascinating is that this has gone around for a year and a half. I've never owned hand sanitizer. I rarely wear fucking face masks. I wear them to get into supermarkets, that's all. I don't believe in most, fucking 99% of the shit on the news. I don't believe any of it. It's nonsense. So why did I only get it now? Why didn't I get it fucking 10 months ago or a year and a half ago? And it was, in my opinion, was designed perfectly for this time, to break me at this time. So I'm okay with that. I trust that. Some people it will kill. That's okay. People have to move on. It's a purge. It's a release. Or some people will be damaged. But I think we need to work with this. If you contract it, work with it. Embrace it. Be still and observe it and learn from what it has to teach you. I'm out of time. Thanks for listening. And thanks for the comments on some of my videos over the last couple of weeks. I haven't had the time or energy to respond, but I did get those comments, the people who did send them, and I appreciate them. So thank you. Be well.